had an issue this weekend with teachers, and I wanted to chat with you guys about it. Let me take you through it because I found it really interesting. It wasn't one of those like experiences you have that you enjoy. It's one of those experiences that you have where you're like, fuck, there's a lot of really angry teachers out there. If you remember last week, oh, you're just reading the headline. Check out this interaction with a few perfectly sane teachers upset over their March break being moved to April. Here in Ontario, they announced that March break would be moved to April. One whole month. So instead of March 12th or whatever it was, which is coming up soon, it's been moved to April. Now, there was a huge uproar from a lot of kids, including mine, who I told them to get fucking real, I believe were my words. We're like, we need a break from school. I'm like, get fucking real. You haven't been in school really for the last year. You've been kind of off and on and all that shit. It's been 365 days since they were actually
dig a hole.
That's your opinion.
So I sent out a tweet based on my thoughts, which, it's a marketplace of ideas. I'm allowed to have thoughts like everybody else is. Here's the tweet. I'm showing it to you now. If you're an Ontario teacher who claims to need a March break from all the teaching you've been doing lately, you shouldn't be allowed to teach our kids. I've watched a few remote classes, and that's not teaching. Now,
yeah.
Is it a vague generalization?
I can't understand why they got upset with you.
Is it a vague generalization?
We were all incompetent. Yeah.
Okay, can I side with the teachers quickly?
Yeah, for sure you can.
Here's my point.
But let me just
here's my point with the teachers.
Let me just get through this, and then we'll get to the reaction, and I want your thoughts. So to clarify, because people started hitting me with tweets, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tweets. I said, I'm talking about the teachers who I've watched remote teach my kid for 10 minutes a day over the past couple of months. Seriously, we just finished a month-long Christmas break too, and it's only February the 13th. Looking for sympathy from burnt-out parents is a tough sell for me, I said. Then I went on to say there are terrific teachers who replied to this, and if you're one of those, you should already be comfortable with your efforts, so you don't need me to identify you. What you need to do is tell the militant arm of your membership to stop making you look like a bunch of babies, and then the March break is a month late. That's the reality we live in because complaining to us is a dick move. Your thoughts?
I will side with the teachers just from this perspective. If you put me in a room full of 25, 30 middle school kids, and you said, okay, you need to teach them, doesn't even matter what the hell it is, you need to teach them something. It would be a week, I'm guessing, before I was choking one of those kids out. Like maybe less, maybe 2 days in.
Well,
and the
okay,
fact
so you're not cut for teacher cloth. We got that.
The fact that there isn't more violence in schools between teachers and students.
Be teacher ever.
Never. So I have sympathy for anybody who decides that regardless of what the motivation is, anybody who decides to do that as a career, because God help you. Yeah.
Right.
That's my point. If they want a month off or 2 weeks off or 3 weeks, I think we should be giving it to them. But
way to suck up to the teachers union, Locke. That's awesome.
Can you imagine? Can you
being
you
a
put
teacher?
Yourself in a teaching
no, because
situation?
I chose not to become a teacher. No, because I chose not to become a teacher. That's you see, and again, that is traditionally what people were saying when there's like, you have no idea how bad my job is. You have no idea how hard this job is right now. You have no idea how difficult it is.
School and get a degree.
Right. Well, there's that. There's that in the best of times when there's no pandemic, right? But I did a little math. My son has been in school collectively, remote learning or in-class learning, for 5.5 out of the last 12 months. 5.5 out of the last 12 months. Of those 5.5 months, there's approximately 120 teaching days in there. Of those 120 teaching days, 60 of those were in class for 90 minutes to 2 hours. So the last 365 days, my kid in grade 9, same thing applies to the kid in grade 12. I got one in university. It doesn't apply. But they have been in school for literally 60 of the last 365 days. You take weekends and stuff off, and I've taken all that stuff. And on top of it, those lucky kids just had a break at Christmas time for at least 3 weeks here in Ontario because of the shutdown and COVID and rejigging and how terrible the fucking government is. So after I do all that math and I hear my kids say, I'm exhausted, I need a break, I'm like, that's the fucking last thing you need. And then when I hear teachers saying the same thing 5 weeks after they had 3 weeks off in my situation, I go, that's interesting, because it's not like they canceled March break for a fucking month. They just moved it. They just moved it a month. It's happening. It's still happening. It's only happening 3 weeks, 2 months after, or not even a month after it was supposed to happen. So maybe it's archaic thinking, but I didn't have a whole bunch of time for the effort that came back towards me in regards to how these teachers acted. Now,